Hello. All right. I am going to teach today's reading and writing lesson on starting to write your nonfiction animal book. But we had a few parents email yesterday and said they were having trouble figuring out what needed to be done every single day. So I wanted to start this video off today showing you a daily agenda that I created for today that hopefully will make it a little bit easier to understand exactly what needs to be completed today. So I'm going to bring that up now. And here it is. So Thursday, March 19th. The first thing is our Zoom call at 7:30 today. So if you weren't able to participate in that, we'd like you to watch that. The second thing to get done today is to watch today's learning video, which is this video. And the majority of your work today is going to be working on your All About Animal book. So today, I would like you to complete the cover, the table of contents, the diagram, what does look like, and where does live. So the first 5 pages of your All About book are to be done today. Then we'd also like you to listen to the next chapter in your class's read aloud. Just a note about tomorrow, you have a PE activity due tomorrow from the PE bingo board that Mr. Pollard sent home, and there is a response to be submitted. So if you go to the PE portion of our Google Classroom, you should be able to do that. And there's another assignment that's posted under PE, but it's not due until next Friday. So if you look across the line, you'll see that it's not due until March 27th, I think. So that is what's due for today, and I will put this into Google Classroom at the top, so it's very clear tomorrow what needs to be done, and hopefully that will alleviate some of the confusion. So let's get back to our reading lesson. You are completing your nonfiction book about animals. So one of the first pages that you need to get done is the cover. And I've gone ahead and done some of my writing in this already to save some time. My book is about ants. So yesterday I spent time in my book going through, finding facts, and then writing them on my grid. Today I'm going to take this information and turn it into sentences. When we start on the cover, you're going to have to write your animal's name right here. Your animal name in the title of a book should start with a capital letter. Okay, that's really important. And nice, neat writing. Notice how all my letters are on the line. Down here, when we get to by, we want you to write your first and last name. My first name is Samantha, my last name is Hutchins. So I wrote the whole thing. Then we left the words at the top. We made them into block letters, and down here, we want you to decorate this cover. Remember how we talked about with the polar bear book? We want the reader to pick our book up off of a shelf of books. So anything you can do on this cover to make it look like super interesting or super colorful or something to grab a reader's attention. Okay, the cover should definitely coincide with what your book is about. So my cover should probably have ants on it. After you finish the cover, you can open to the table of contents. Now, in the table of contents, there are all the page titles, all the section titles, and then there's an area for page number. So the first thing is ant diagram. That is going to be page 1. What ants look like. That is going to be page 2. Now these are all titles of sections. So notice that every single word is capitalized. Every single word in a title is capitalized. So the title of a book and the title of the sections. Where ants live is going to be page 3. What ants eat is going to be page 4. What ants do is going to be page 5. And what I learned about ants is going to be page 6, but I might add more to those. But that section starts on page 6. Okay? So once your table of contents is done, you're going to flip the page, and then you're going to get to the diagram, if I can get to it here. There we go. Get to the diagram. So you, again, have to write your animal name. So this is the ant diagram. Now, in my book, I actually had a diagram of an ant that I could use. It had labels and body parts. So I used that information and started to draw an ant. And I'm going to move this a little bit closer just so you can see, because it's not quite as dark. So I drew the ant as best I could. And then I also have the word leg here with an arrow pointing to a leg. A diagram has labels. It gives information. It's not just an illustration. It gives information about what that animal looks like. Okay? So if you have whales, you might need to have labels like fins or tail or fluke. Okay? After you finish the ant diagram, or your animal's diagram, then we can move on to our sentences. And this is where your grid that you made yesterday is going to come in handy. So what do look like? I wrote ants, but if you look at the writing, it actually it's a sentence. So what do ants look like? Ants should not have been capitalized. It should be lowercase. So I fixed that. What do ants look like? From my chart, I have under my looks like section, their bodies have 3 parts. They have 6 legs, 2 antennae, that's spelled wrong. 2 antennae, black, brown, red, green, yellow. Those are all the colors that ants can come in. And large as a paperclip. So I chose to start with bodies have 3 parts. So my sentence is ants have 3 parts on their body. And then I could stop there. But you guys are almost 2nd graders. So we want to make our sentences longer and more interesting. That fancy word is we want to expand our sentences. So I could say ants have 3 parts to their bodies. But my book tells me what 3 parts those are. So if I go back to my book, my diagram says that 1 part is the abdomen, 1 part is the thorax, and 1 part is the head. So ants have 3 parts to their bodies. And then I'm going to put a period. Maybe I'm not going to expand my sentence. Maybe I'm going to write 2 sentences. Either way, we want you to add more information. Okay? Ants have 3 parts to their bodies. They are the abdomen. Now, where can I find that word? That's a hard word to spell. I should look back in my book to make sure I'm spelling that correctly. So, abdomen, A, B, D, O, M, E, N. They are the abdomen. Now I'm going to make a list. So I'm going to put a comma. The abdomen, the thorax. Again, I need to look in my book. T-H-O-R-A-X. The thorax, comma, and the head. period. After I finish this nice expanded sentence, I am going to do a very nice illustration of what ants look like. And I'm going to make sure that I'm including a background and details and color. Then I'm going to flip the page, and the next page is the last page we're going to work on today. Where do ants live? I think I need to come up with a better system than paperclip. So I've already filled in ants. I've looked at my chart and I figured out what sentence I'm going to write. And I have learned that ants live in grass and dirt. So that's the sentence I wrote. Ants can live in grass and dirt. Now, that's an okay sentence, but I learned a lot more about where ants live. I have a lot more room. Should I expand my sentence or maybe write another sentence? Absolutely. So let's see, what could I write this time? Their nests, so one of the facts was their nests are under or on top of the ground. Ants can live in grass and dirt. Their nests, notice this is a new sentence, so it gets a capital letter. Their nests can be under, notice I'm taking my time on my letters, or on top of the ground. And don't forget your period. Okay. After I'm done with that sentence, then I'm going to do a nice picture about where ants live. So maybe for mine, I might want to draw a ground line and some grass and then maybe an anthill. That would be the last thing that you have to do today. I want you to make sure that you're taking the time on your sentences. Make sure your sentences have capitals. Make sure they have an ending punctuation. Make sure you have spaces. And also make sure you're looking for invading capitals. Capitals should only be at the beginning of the sentence or on a proper noun. They should not be in the middle of words. Okay, so really take the time to reread that sentence. Make sure your sentence is a strong first grade sentence. Okay, so going back to our to-dos, after you finish this or at a different time, one of the last things is going to be listening to another read aloud. So as always, if you have any questions, please shoot us an email. We'll be on tomorrow for most of the day. Otherwise, I hope you guys have fun with this. Bye.